All right, everyone. Affidavits with regards to Nikki Haley cheating on her husband who was deployed in the military have been sort of recirculated. I would point out that these have been around for a while. Like Loomer was talking about this months ago, to her credit. I know some people have a problem with her, but she does do a lot of news breaking. And she's definitely not well liked by the Nikki Haley crowd. There was another commentator who simply posed for a picture. I mean, he met Loomer briefly and took a selfie, and he was banned from a Nikki Haley event, or a DeSantis event, was kicked out actually for that. She's not well liked by her political enemies, so yeah, any enemy of Nikki Haley is a friend of mine. Her infidelities, though, I want to discuss this seriously. It's kind of funny to think about Nikki Haley. She's in her 40s, her husband's deployed, so it's kind of skeevy at the time. And she's banging around with a couple of other individuals, at least two that we know of, who were willing to sign sworn affidavits that they had sex with Nikki Haley while she was married. And had kids, by the way. But I don't give a shit. Her infidelities aren't really meaningful in any meaningful sense of the word. What I'm concerned about with Nikki Haley is, number one, total astroturf. The entire establishment desperately wants to have her be the Republican nominee, because then you have a controlled opposition election. Biden v. Haley does not matter. It literally would not matter who won. You're going to have the same basic set of policies. Nikki Haley is no friend of the Second Amendment, although she pretends to be. She rode the concealed carry thing. Wow, wonderful. Okay, you barely fall in line with the modern post-Bruin update on the concept of the militia. And everything else, you sound like a goddamn Democrat. And left-wing one, not even just a liberal sometimes. She said Hillary Clinton was the reason that she got into politics. Oh, she was such an inspiration. I bet she regrets having said that, by the way. Over and over and over again, she's spouting off talking points that are neocon at best. And I don't really think the average person in the public wants another George W. Bush. But hey, this time it's got a vagina, so that makes it better now, doesn't it? I think much like with having Kamala be the first female president, which would be a humiliation of the Democratic Party, not to mention the United States as a total, why the fuck would you want Nikki Haley to be the first female president? And I can see like a Kristi Noem in that position. I can see a Carrie Lake. I can see a Tulsi Gabbard. But I can't really see, no, not a Nikki Haley. I'm not into that. She's had numerous other foibles. She's in favor of 12-year-olds being able to do the gender transition thing and for it to be perfectly legal. She talked about illegal immigrants only about a week ago and said, well, it's unkind to use that term. They're people too, and they're suffering. Yeah, I know that they're people. I know there's a lot of suffering in the world, plenty of suffering in the United States. Maybe you should, if you're running for the United States presidency, think more about those people suffering as opposed to somebody's fifis being hurt because a term that you consider antiquated was used, even when it's a totally appropriate term because they're illegally in the country. They have immigrated. It's fairly straightforward now, isn't it? That's what I'm concerned about. And then on top of that, of course, the warmongering. The big elephant in the room with Nikki Haley, elephant is in the symbol of the neocon GOP front, as opposed to the lion that seems to be more the symbol of MAGA. The basic concept is, hey, let's start World War III. When you listen to Nikki Haley talk about Iran or basically anywhere else in the world, it's like, yeah, bomb them, kill some more kids. Well, how's that different from what Biden's doing right now? He's arms dealing to numerous countries, warmongering constantly. We're now at war with the Houthis. We're on the edge of war with Iran. Nikki Haley's creaming herself every night thinking about that. I don't even know why she bothers running. Just drop out and endorse Joe Biden. Yeah, maybe he'll give you a position in his administration. Maybe you can be part of the Defense Department. I'm sure that you'd get classified footage of dead orphans, and you'd be flicking the bean to that constantly. That's Nikki Haley in a goddamn nutshell. I don't give a shit if she fucked around behind her husband's back. I believe it. I mean, there's sworn affidavits, and they were never contested, by the way, by Nikki Haley. No comment. I'm not going to say anything about that. Well, that's fine. Okay. She cheated on her deployed husband. Doesn't make her look very good among, especially maybe some of her core voters who want to start World War III. Well, respect the troops, America, star-spangled bullshit and bombs and stuff like that, but then you're cheating on your soldier husband. That's not necessarily a good look. By the way, with Tim Scott's endorsement of Donald Trump, the race is over, by the way. Nikki Haley will lose New Hampshire. She's going to get crushed in South Carolina, her own home state, because now she's got a high-profile South Carolinian stumping for Trump right now. DeSantis, by the way, has become a non-entity. He might not even stay in till South Carolina. You can expect him to endorse Trump, by the way, in the end. Good on him. Another redemption arc for him. I'll give him credit where credit's due over Martha's Vineyard, but I can't find anything to give Nikki Haley credit over. Okay, so your spouse is going into a war zone, and you're fucking around with other people. You've got kids, by the way, at the time, and that's just, that kind of compacts it. So you're fucking around, disrespecting the troops, basically. I wonder if she fucked the whole barracks. Probably would. Back then, she would have been attractive enough to actually attract the attention. I love it when the boomers still pretend that she's attractive. Now, not in about 15 years, but, back then she could swing it. And she was swinging. But it's the warmongering aspect really that pisses me off. It's like, okay, she had marital infidelities. It's common. It happens a lot with people. And it's not political in nature. I mean, quasi-political since her husband was deployed in the military at the time and you're the warmonger candidate. I would think, what are Nikki Haley fans at this point what do you even goddamn stand for? Can you please explain to me? So, out there's got to be someone who actually genuinely supports Nikki Haley for reasons unrelated to we must stop Trump. Can you please explain to me one policy of hers that makes any sense at all? And isn't just talk a big game shit like, oh, well, we need to get tough on border crisis. Oh, okay. We don't hear that from literally every goddamn candidate other than Joe Biden, notoriously. Over the last 30 years, we never heard that from Obama. We never heard it from W. We never heard it from Trump, and he actually followed through on it. So I think that I'll choose the candidate who actually did something and was stymied in his attempts mostly, but in the end, at least something was done. An attempt was made, partially successful. Please show me a successful Haley attempt. I'm drawing a blank. If Trump has one problem, it's his hiring decisions. Hiring Nikki Haley for UN ambassador, that was a big mistake. But she was a neocon. Again, like with Pence, it was an olive branch to the neocons to get them on board to get something done because they were being obstructionists. By the way, that'll happen in his second term too. I fully expect at this point, based on what I'm seeing in poll movement, I think he is going to go Grover Cleveland mode, which is the best thing for the nation. I want to see a triumphant moment where Trump under house arrest wins the election anyway, and he comes out and he gives a thumbs up and then snaps off his ankle monitor or something like that. We're not going to get a hilarious moment like that if we nominate Nikki Haley. It'll be boring. It'll be, okay, one warmonger versus another warmonger. This person wants to create more regulations. That person kind of sort of is indifferent to it. We'll create some and get rid of others. This one wants to marginally raise your taxes. Ooh, that's scary. This one doesn't want to change the tax rate and alleviate it in any sense and continue the deficit spending. Yay! What a big difference between these two candidates. And they both want to start World War III to kill us all. Yeah. Haley, 24. I don't care if she fucked around. Okay, she had a penis inside of her vagina that shouldn't have been there. That's small fry compared to burning the world in nuclear fire, or allowing children to be abused, which Nikki Haley is in support of, or ignoring the border. If she's going to talk a big game about the border, but she's not going to use the term illegal aliens to describe people who are illegally in the country, that's sort of a tell now, isn't it? That's about all. Peace out.